वेलकम स्टूडेंट्स। फोर्थ चैप्टर स्टार्ट करने वाले हम लोग फ्रॉम ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ऑफ कॉमर्स। दैट फोर्थ चैप्टर इज ऑल अबाउट द फॉर्म्स ऑफ बिजनेस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। सो आपको यहाँ पे बिजनेस ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के कितने का टाइप्स है, आपको 4 से 5 टाइप है यहाँ पे आपको बताए जाएंगे, दिखाए जाएंगे। उसके मेरिट्स, डिमेरिट्स, फीचर्स वो सब होंगे यहाँ पे, ठीक है। सो द स्टार्टिंग विद प्राइवेट सेक्टर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, first of all we will discuss meaning and its introduction part and everything. So देखो सिंपल बात है that private sector includes all types of individuals and all types of corporate enterprises because they are owned and they are controlled by the private entities. And the private sector enterprises are mostly characterized by the certain common characteristics. कुछ कॉमन बातें होती है लाइक प्राइवेट इनिशिएटिव्स, प्रॉफिट मोटिव, देन देयर इज अ ओनरशिप, देन मैनेजमेंट, बोथ दैट ओनरशिप एंड मैनेजमेंट बोथ आर इन द प्राइवेट हैंड्स। एंड आज के डेट में प्राइवेट सेक्टर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इट इज अ फॉर्म ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट इंडस्ट्रियल यूनिट्स एंड जो नॉर्मली दे आर ओन्ड बाय द शेयर होल्डर्स एंड दे आर मैनेज बाय द प्रोफेशनल मैनेजर्स व्हिच आर नोन एज बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स एंड दे आर मोस्टली मोटिवेटेड with the profit motive and also they concentrate on the expansion of their company, consolidation of their company, then arousing the social consciousness, also the social responsibilities and social welfare. So in short and simple you can say that private sector organizations, these are the such organizations which are owned and controlled by the private entities and with the motive of profit only and expansion and social welfare and social responsibility, everything. So if you talk about the meanings, if you want a definition of private sector, so the meaning which is given in the chapter is that a private sector is a part of economy that is run by individual or a group of individuals to earn a profit earn करने के लिए इसको रन किया जाता है, इसको कैरी द बिजनेस कैरी ऑन फॉर जस्ट प्रॉफिट मोटिव एंड along with the profit motive there are other motives too, as we said above. It is social responsibility, social welfare, etc. If you talk about the types of private sector organizations or private sector entities, basically there are 5 types. The first one is sole proprietorship, then partnership, then joint Hindu family, cooperative society and joint stock companies. We are going to study every point in detail with the merits, with the demerits, with the features and everything. So let's start with the point, because the importance of this private sector is in the Indian economy is it is tremendous. And from introduction of new economic policy which is introduced in 1991, because from that day or from that era or from that year only that privatization it was began or it was initiated by the government of India, and there was a boom in IT sector, there was a boom in the software sector, there was a boom in BPO sector. Also the private banks, again the commercial banks or the foreign banks, they entered into the field of banking which was earlier reserved for the government sector only. And overall it has a very positive impact on the growth rate. It has a very positive impact on Indian economy in general, because the manufacturing companies, they are covering sectors like automobiles, chemicals, textile, agro food, computer hardware, telecommunication, petroleum products, etc. And this is a tremendous growth, or this is or you can say it's a very much positive sign that we are moving towards the development and we are making a development. The first type which we are going to start is that sole trading concern, or you can say sole proprietorship, that a single person is the owner, and or you can say that entity or that business it is carried on by the single person. Because you can say that sole proprietorship is one of the ancient forms of a business, and it is very much oldest and it is very much simplest form of the business. The word sole means single and proprietorship means owner, that one single person, he is the owner, he is a manager, he is an employee, he is everything. So he is an independent person and he has all rights even though he has all responsibilities. So if you talk about the meaning in detail, in this type of organization or in this form of organization, a businessman or an individual invests his own capital, uses own skills and undertake the business activity. He manages the affairs of a business, enjoys profits and also bears losses on his own responsibility. So this form of commercial organization is also known as proprietorship, a sole trader or individual entrepreneurship, proprietorship concern or a sole trading concern. So you can observe that he invests his own capital, he undertook his own activities, he manages his own affairs and he earns a profit or he bears losses. There are two professors which gave the definition, that Professor J. Hansen, according to him, sometimes known as a one-man business. It is a type of business unit where one person is solely responsible for providing capital, for bearing the risk of enterprise and for the risk of ownership. So he is solely responsible for the capital, responsible for bearing the risk and for the ownership too. According to Professor James Landy, that person says sole proprietorship is an informal type of business owned by the one person. That single person, एक इंसान जो है इस बिजनेस को ओन करेगा, इस बिजनेस का वो जो है वो मालिक होगा. Now let's move to the features. The first one is individual ownership. As we all know that sole proprietor, it is owned by the single person. So obviously ownership rights and ownership, it is enjoyed by the single person only. There is no one to share the profit or there is no one to share the risk. As we all know or as we discuss in above point, if it is an individual ownership, then obviously there will be no one to share the profits. He can enjoy profits solely and also he has to bear the profits only. Then the self-employment, because that person, he generates employment for himself. The sole proprietorship, it is the kind of self-employment, because if you are talking about the sole proprietorship, it's like वो किसी भी बंदे को, means he can't generate an employment. Means I am not saying he can't generate, it means he can generate. But if it is a sole proprietorship, then he will be the single person, he will be the single manager, he will be the single owner. So that's why it is known as a form of self-employment too, because he is generating employment for himself and for his family. Then that sole proprietorship, it operates on a local level, it operates on a local market, because the scale of the business, it is very small, so it operates in a local area only. As we know that sole proprietorship, it don't have any separate legal entity, because as the company has, because in case of sole proprietorship, that owner and business both are one and only same thing. Means the liability of business, these are also the liability of that person or that sole proprietor. Means he cannot say these are the liabilities of business and I am a different person and business is an artificial person. He cannot say that in case of sole proprietorship. So whatever the liabilities of business, those liabilities, they will be the liabilities of those person too. So there is no, as I said, there is no separate legal entity. So in case of any losses or in case of any damages, he is responsible personally. Then minimum government regulations, as we all know that sole proprietorship, it requires low amount of capital and they also operates on a low scale. So the government of India, there are very much low rules or low complications involved in setting up of sole proprietorship. Because this registration of sole concern, it is not compulsory, it is not even compulsory. You don't have to register it compulsorily. Again, the rigid legal formalities, they are not required for a formation. Only you have to follow the tax laws, and if you are employing some labor, you have to follow that labor laws only. As we all know, as I said above, that there is no separate legal existence. That businessman and that owner, they both are one and only same thing. So that means there is unlimited liability. As I said, that owner will be personally liable for the business liabilities. So that's why there is a problem, or we cannot say exactly it is a problem, because if you want to enjoy the profit lonely, then obviously you have to bear the losses lonely. So there is a feature, this is another feature, that is unlimited liabilities. It means in case if you fail to repay those liabilities of business, you will be personally liable. Means that person, he can claim, he can sell off your personal property, he can sell off your personal belongings, so that you can repay that loan to the person. So after the features, we will move on to the merits and the demerits of the chapter, demerits of this thing. As we all know that merits, the first one is easy formation, because we discussed earlier that there is no rigid procedure for the formation and there is no compulsion for the registration. So it's very much easy to form a sole trading concern, sole proprietorship. Then that person, he can take a quick decisions because he is a single owner and there is a single ownership, or we said individual ownership. So if he feels that he needs to take certain decisions, he don't have to depend on anyone else, or he doesn't have to depend on any kind of voting and all that stuff. He is a single person, he's a single manager. He can take his own decisions quickly, and mostly hopefully those decisions, they will benefit his business. Okay. Then maximum secrecy, because he is a single person, he is a single owner, he is a single manager. So he can maintain his secrecy, he can maintain the secrets of a business. There is very low risk of spreading, or there is very low risk of opening those secrets. Because in case of companies where there are a lot of employees are working, and there is a risk of breach of privacy, or there is a risk of breach of these secrets, because those employees, they can reveal those secrets to their closed ones, and their closed ones, they will reveal that secret to another, and that chain goes on and goes on. But in case of sole proprietorship, there is a maximum secrecy, because he is a single person, and he can share those secrets if he wants, and if he doesn't want to share those secrets, then there are very low chances of that breach of a secrecy. Again, as we know, there is no need to publish his business, or there is no need to publish any books of accounts or all that stuff. So it's very much low risk to what we can say that बहुत ही रिस्क कम होता है कि आपका जो सिक्रेसी है वो ब्रीच हो जाए, या फिर सिक्रेसी वो ब्रेक हो जाए. Direct motivation है, the sole proprietor, he is a owner and he is a manager. So when he enjoys the profit, he gets some motivation, and he gets motivated to work harder, to earn more. So this is a direct motivation. Again, being a single decision maker of the business, sole proprietors, he can take a quick decisions, and that brings flexibility in business. He can expand his business, and he can change the line of business, and because of this flexibility, he can earn a good amount of profit. Then the sole trader is a sole manager. Again, he controls all his activities of the business, and he also tries to minimize the wastages, so that results in a lower cost. So with help of the lower cost, he can achieve greater profits. Again, the sole proprietor, he enjoys the efficiency in his business, because he is a single person. So for maximizing profit, he can work more efficiently, so that he can attain those profits. He don't have to rely on any person. Like in case of company, efficiency of company, it also depends on the working of the staff. But in case of sole proprietor, that person, he is a owner, he is a manager, he is an employee. So his efficiency, that matters a lot, because if he work efficiently, he can earn good amount of profit, and if he don't, then obviously he have to bear the losses. But as you can say that every coin has a two sides. If it has a merits, then it will obviously have a demerits. So we will discuss the demerits. The first one is limited capital, because he is a single trader, he is a single proprietor, and his capacity of raising the capital is very limited. He can raise the capital from friends, he can raise the capital from relatives or banks, but these sources, they are very much limited, and that financial financial difficulty, it leads to obstacle in expansion, it leads to the obstacle in development of business. So because of these limitations, he cannot expand as a company can expand, because he has a limited capital. Then limited managerial skill, because we know he is a single person and he is a owner, he is a manager. So it is not compulsory that he must have those kind of managerial skills which the professional managers has. So sometimes he lacks those managerial skills, and because of that, it affects the efficiency and it affects the profits of the business. After that, unlimited liability, we discussed it as a feature. because that person he has unlimited liability means a businessman or a owner and a business, they both are one and only same. So he will be personally liable for the business loan or for the business debts. And in case if he cannot repay those liabilities, he have to sell off his private property, his private belongings. Then lack of stability, because the existence of sole trading concern is totally depend on the existence of the sole trader. If that sole trader he died or if that sole trader become insolvent, in that case that sole proprietorship it came to the end. Then lack of specialization, because the division of work it leads to the specialization. You can divide the work, you can allot the work according to the specialty of any worker. But in case of sole trader concern, he is a single person, he don't have workers. So he lacks the specialty because he works on a small scale by selling the variety of items. He don't even sell any kind of specialized item. He work on a small scale. So जो variety है वो होता नहीं है, that you can say that he is a jack of all but master of none. Means he sell variety of goods but he is not a specialty. He has not a specialty in a single product or in any product. Not suitable for the large scale operations, because small trading concern or sole trading concern, it cannot work on a large scale as any kind of limited company or joint stock company they can operate. Because those companies, they have a large capital, they have a large manager skill, they have a staff, they have employees, they have technology, and all these things they are lacked on a part of sole proprietorship. So he cannot work on a large scale, and sole proprietorship it is a one man show, it is a one man army, or you can say it's a one man show rather. अगर वो परफॉर्म करेगा तो बिजनेस परफॉर्म करेगा, बट देयर आर सर्टेन लिमिटेशंस ऑन हिज परफॉर्मेंस, सो ही कैन नॉट एक्ट ऑन अ लार्ज स्केल, राइट. The second part or the second type of this private sector organization, that second type, it involves a partnership firm. There are certain limitations which are applicable for the sole proprietorship. So वो जो limitations है उनको आप थोड़े लेवल पे करेक्ट कर सकते हो with the help of partnership firm, because the partnership is another important I can say important part of this private sector organization. पार्टनरशिप का डेफिनेशन दिया है, पार्टनरशिप इट इज ओन्ड एंड मैनेज्ड बाय द मोर देन वन पर्सन, वेयर ऑल पार्टनर्स शेयर द प्रॉफिट्स एंड लॉसेस ऑफ द बिजनेस एंड एज वेल एज द लायबिलिटीज, एंड दिस इज नोन एज अ पार्टनरशिप बिजनेस. यहाँ पे एक से ज्यादा लोग काम करते हैं फॉर शेयरिंग द प्रॉफिट्स एंड लॉसेस. द बेसिक मोटिव इज शेयरिंग प्रॉफिट्स एंड लॉसेस, एंड फॉर वर्किंग टुगेदर दे शेयर प्रॉफिट्स एंड लॉसेस एज पर देयर ओन डिसाइडेड रेशियो. And if there is no ratio as such, then they will share those profits equally. So definition it is given by the first of all Indian Partnership Act 1932, section 4, that defines partnership as: partnership is the relation between the persons who have agreed to share the profits of the business carried on by all, or any of them acting for all. So दो या दो से ज्यादा लोग एक साथ के काम करेंगे, either they will work together or some of them they will work together, because other partners they might be a sleeping partner, they might provide only capital. So this is what the definition says. Then there is another definition, Professor L.H. Haney. He said that partnership is a relation existing between persons competent to make contract who have agreed on a lawful business in a common with a view to the private gain. So इनको यहाँ पे भी डेफिनेशन हमें आपको वही बताया गया है कि कॉम्पिटेंट पर्सन जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर सकते हैं उनके बीच का ये रिलेशन है, एंड दे आर अग्रीड टू कैरी ऑन लॉफुल बिजनेस. व्हाट इज इंपॉर्टेंट, इट इज लॉफुल बिजनेस, बिकॉज इलीगल बिजनेस इट इज नॉट कवर्ड इन दिस थिंग, बिकॉज ऑल वी नो इज अ लॉफुल बिजनेस, राइट. Some of the important terms they are given: the partner, obviously the partner, the person who has entered into the partnership agreement with one another, that person is known as a partner. Partnership firm, the persons who entered into the partnership with one another, it is collectively known as partnership firm. The firm name, the name under which partnership business it is carried, that name is known as a firm name. And partnership deed or agreement, the terms and conditions of partnership business mentioned in the writing, and that paper it is known as a partnership deed or agreement, and it is the most important document of a partnership deed. We will discuss the features of a partnership firm. Okay, so what are the features of partnership firm? The first feature is agreement. The partnership is the outcome of an agreement between two or more persons who are conducting business for conducting business for earning profits. An agreement between the partners, it may be the oral agreement or it may be the written agreement, and it is advisable to maintain a written agreement for the future. Then there is a joint ownership. As we all know, the partnership firm, it is jointly owned by the persons. So every partner is a joint owner of the company, and they act as an agent to each other, but they both are joint owners of the company. Joint management, as we all know that all partners, they have a right to take a part in management of the company. So there is a feature of joint management, because one or more partner, they can agree to manage that business jointly. Then lawful business, every partnership firm, it must undertake the lawful business only, because the partnership should not engage in any business which is forbidden by the law, and the partnership cannot carry on any kind of illegal activities, so they have to carry out that legal activities. Then liability, as in the case of sole proprietor, liability, it is again unlimited in this case, that partnership firm and partners, they both are one and only same. In case of you can say, in case of they fail to make a payment or they fail to repay the liability, all partners, they are personally, jointly and severally responsible. There are private properties that can be sell off to repay that loan. Number of partners, there are minimum 2 partners involved for a partnership, and maximum it is permitted to the 50. Now I think that number has changed, but this is the old data, but you have to write at 15 exams only. Then as I said to you, there is a principal agent relationship. Every partner is a joint owner of the company, and he takes a part in a management, and every partner has a two role to each other. They are acting as a principal while dealing with the outsider, because they are the joint owners, and they act as a agent when they are dealing with each other. Then the restrictions on transfer of interest. No partner of the firm, they cannot sell off or they cannot transfer their interest, or they cannot no outsider can enter into the partnership firm without consent of all. Means if any third person he wants to become a partner, he cannot become a partner until every person they are agree on this thing. The registration of the partnership firm, again it is not mandatory as per the provisions of Indian Partnership Act 1932. But however, in Maharashtra since April 1985, and in some other states, registration is compulsory as per the respective state provision. And if the partners so desire, they can register their firms with the Registrar of Firms with the respective states. And the firm as well as partners enjoys several benefits after registration. So earlier it was not mandatory, but now it is compulsory since April 1985. As we all know, this partnership, they are carrying this partnership for a single purpose. That single purpose is sharing of profits and losses. So either they will share profits and losses equally, or they will share the profits and losses as per the ratio given. Because if agreement is silent, they will share the profit. They will share this profit equally. But if there is any specific ratio mentioned in the agreement, they need to follow that ratio only. Then termination of partner, any person he can resign by his own by giving a notice to other partners, and partners may also be removed from the firm because of the fraudulent activities. Then a dissolution, the partnership firm it can dissolve at any time if partners agrees to, and the partnership firm it gets automatically dissolved in case of death, insolvency or insanity of any one of the partner, provided in partnership deed without continued existence. Means if it is there in a partnership deed that if any partner is dead or if any partner become insolvent, then partnership firm will be dissolved. If it is there in a partnership, you have to dissolve. Or if the number of partners they go beyond, they go below number 2, so one person cannot carry the partnership business, right? So in that case, it gets automatically dissolved. Even though by the court order of the court it can dissolve, because if that partnership firm it is involved in fraudulent activity, court may direct that firm that you have to dissolve your business. So there are very much various ways for the dissolution of the firm.